Let's revisit the Resident Evil topic. I did manage to watch 2 episodes of this show. I wanted to see just how bad it is. After watching Heel vs. Babyface's reviews of the show, I really wanted to see if it was as bad as he was saying it was. And it is. It's an awful show. I think one of the biggest problems, aside from the bad writing, is the fact that none of the characters are likable. None of them are likable. They're all just mean and awful to everybody. It's not very good. It's a bad show. And one question I have is, were they intentionally trying to make the show campy? That's a question I'd really like to know the answer to, because it seems like they wanted to make it campy, but they weren't willing to go all in. And they were trying to do like a serious camp thing. It didn't work, in my opinion. I think it's an awful show. And a lot of people back me up. Not only do critics back me up, but the audience score for this pile of garbage backs me up. Sitting at a 26% audience score with 2,000 user ratings. It's pretty bad. In fact, many would say it's pathetic. In fact, it's so pathetically bad that people want the show removed from Netflix because it's so bad. People have shared their views on the new Resident Evil series, which is based on the video game franchise, saying it is disappointing and should be removed from Netflix. Now, honestly, I'd rather have Cuties removed over this. That would do a lot to bring me back to their service. It's still on there. They're not taking it down. But here we go. Awful series. And then, turns out it's not just an awful series. It's one of the worst rated shows ever, which is a feat. How do you pull that off? Well, if you ask Netflix, you'll find the answer, because they do it quite often. Make bad shit. So, Resident Evil, Netflix, officially one of the worst rated shows of all time. Pretty bad. The show only dropped last week, though ratings have been very low already, with Rotten Tomatoes showing an audience score of just 25%. The series also has an average user rating of 3.6% on IMDb. This would make the show one of the lowest rated series on IMDb, with the list ranging from 1.3 to 4.4 on the scale. It's pretty bad. I don't know. Maybe this is what they wanted to do. And I guess the show had a lot of money. Like, it had a big budget. It wasn't a cheap show to make. And this is one of the reasons it's likely to just be canceled. Season 2, probably not going to happen. We have another Cowboy Bebop situation. And here's the thing about Cowboy Bebop. It was on the ratings for a little while. So here's Resident Evil. This is from Flix Patrol. This is the top shit on Netflix right now. As of July 22nd, top movies, as you can see, it's not on that because it's not a movie. But you don't hear top TV shows. And it is number 1 on Netflix. It's actually been in the top 10 since it came out, which shouldn't be too surprising. This is the reason why it's good to take something that already exists, like taking a franchise with a built-in fan base like Resident Evil. You're guaranteed ratings. You're guaranteed people are going to check it out because this is one of their favorite franchises. So naturally, they want to sit down and they want to watch it. Whether or not they make it through all of the episodes, I don't know. We have a list of what countries it's popular in. Kenya is one of them. Nigeria. It's popular in Pakistan, Turkey, and in the Ukraine. And even though they have time to sit down and watch shows over there. So there you go. It's still getting ratings on Netflix, but keep in mind Cowboy Bebop did okay and was in It was in the top 10 for a few days as well. I really do think that this show is canceled, and you've got Forbes agreeing with me, laying down some reasons why. And like I said, the potentially high cost. While it may not be a Jupiter's Legacy level money sink, Resident Evil is a sci-fi show about a post-apocalyptic future full of practical effects for its zombies and lots of digital effects for its larger monsters. As such, it's probably a good bit more expensive than your average series on the service, which requires higher viewership to justify a continued investment. And then, of course, critics don't like it, and audiences hate it even more. This is not some issue where critics hate something fun, and audiences are much more tolerant. Resident Evil has some of the lowest audience scores I've ever seen for any series on Netflix. And then, of course, a 26% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 3.7 on IMDb. Resident Evil fans really dislike the original take on the universe and have rated it lower than the endless string of blockbuster movies. Non-fans are either ignoring it or don't like it either. I do wonder why, or I do wonder if you aren't a fan of Resident Evil, right? Maybe you can answer this in the comments. Let's say you don't like Resident Evil, never played the games. Like, did you watch this series? What were your thoughts on that? If you didn't play any of the games and you're unfamiliar with the franchise, did you watch this, and what did you think of it? Now, that's the question I'd like to know. I understand why Resident Evil fans don't like it. I'm one of them. It's an awful show, and it follows a line of awful movies. We've never got a good live-action Resident Evil. I think all of the live-action Resident Evil films have been hot shit, and I really, and I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again, don't understand why it's so hard to make a movie in a mansion with zombies. And I think you could have a really good movie with a lot of tense moments and cool shit in it, but instead, they're like, well, we're going to go ahead and we're just going to give you this show that nobody asked for or wanted. It's pathetic. I really just don't understand why they can't do that. And then you get a successful movie, and then you make the next one in a freaking police station, like the second game. It really is laid out for you there. I don't quite get it, but instead of doing that, we get this garbage every time. Every time. So, season 2, not looking likely. I would say it gets canceled. I wonder if they'll cancel it quickly like they did Cowboy Bebop. Remember that? Like, that show was, like, canceled immediately 2 weeks after it was sort of like, well, we hear ya. Show's over. I wonder if that'll happen with this series. We'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Make sure to check out my locals. There's a link in the description. It's a fun community that I'm trying to build over here. If you don't want to support me on YouTube, you can come over here. None of that money goes to YouTube. You also can just come over here for free. But if you are a supporter over here, I do plan on doing an extra live stream once a month and throwing links to the supporters so you can actually come on and have a supporter live stream with me. Also, it's a good place to catch all of my content. You don't have to worry about notifications like YouTube. They'll definitely work over here. So come check out my locals. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out. Also, make sure to follow me over on Twitch. I do watch parties, play video games over there. They're always fun. Follow me over there and come hang out. Also, make sure you subscribe to YellowFlash, my other channel. There's a link to that in the description as well. I do a lot of live streams over there that I don't do on this channel. Usually smaller and a little bit more personal. So make sure you follow me over there and sign up.